Like we belong here. We belong to this stage at this channel, and we can do all we want, and we have all the people who like everything we do. So
You
nice.
don't need to worry. The world is turning to come to you. There's no reason to hurry. I don't know where you're running to. You know you don't need to worry.
Yes, Sunil.
The world is turning to come to you. You try to find that perfect line before it's out of sight. You're chasing lies, they're fireflies, they'll flicker through the night. You say you're not the type to stop, and so you play the game. You make the rules, you win and lose, and then it's all the same. There's no reason to
Right.
hurry. I don't know where you're
Reason?
running to. You know you don't need to worry. And let's go live. Let's go live. Let's go live. Hello. Hello, everyone. We are live. Mansi, we are live.
Hi,
We
Siddharth.
have 57 people waiting for us. Hi, Mansi. Welcome
Wow.
back.
As always, my pleasure to be here.
Yay. Hi, chat. How are you all doing? Late OP, whoever said that, please, please. I was 2 minutes ahead of time. I just played the song for you guys so that, you can enjoy that.
Enjoy.
Yes, so that song is called Standing Still. It's something that I made last month, and I've just been experimenting with it. I've been trying to make it a little better. So I thought I'll play it for you guys so that you can give me feedback. Is the song available anywhere? Murtuza, I had put it up on Instagram, so it's there on my Instagram channel, so you can follow there and check it out. I will try to make it a little better and put it up on Spotify sometime this year for sure. All right, what's everybody saying? What's happening? The spelling check. Why is everybody on the spelling? The spelling is not. Mansi, was the spelling wrong?
It's correct. I think it's the font.
It's the font. It's not. I don't think it's a spelling mistake. Yeah. And anyway, this is why I did the failure conversation so that I can make mistakes like this and say, I told you so. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Also, I mean, it got people's attention, right? So, it got them thinking a lot more than what they would have otherwise.
Exactly. Yes. So then that's a good thing. 95 viewers. Let's see. Shall I wait till 5 more join? Let's see. What do we want? What? Ojas Gokhale is saying that I spelt it as WHEDE. That can't be right. How could I have made a mistake like that? ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता.
तो मुझे क्यों नहीं दिखा?
वही तो. I don't think so. Yeah, okay. We have crossed 100. We have reached 104, so we can start now. ऋषिकेश, नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आया यार. बेल आइकन करके कोई चीज़ होती है. बेल आइकन में प्रेस करो, नोटिफिकेशन आ जाएगा. Kunal, singer, neurologist, poet, thank you so much. I tried to not get bored. So a lot of what I do is just to not get bored in life. Check the title of the stream. Oh, the title of the stream. Acha, it's not the poster.
Not a poster. Oh, no
Yes.
wonder. No wonder everyone. Okay.
Oh God, yes, the title of the stream is My Day.
So I saw your tweet yesterday. It's 3 a.m. and I should sleep. Something of that sort, right?
Yeah. No, this.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
was that an old
Yeah.
tweet?
No, that was yesterday. I was up till 3:30 a.m. yesterday. I was.
Right. So this is what sleep deprivation does
Correct.
to you.
Like I slept at 3:30. No, wait. I slept at 3:50, and then I woke up at 8 o'clock to make the poster, and then I made the channel link. So yeah, I completely accept that. In fact, somebody very smartly suggested, I was trying to practice my German. Actually, so it's not a mistake. I think that's how they say it in German. So I'm trying to include more of an international audience.
Wow.
So that
Wow.
is probably why I did that. Let's go with that.
A Freudian slip, like German slipped into your English. All right.
Yes. All right. Okay. Mansi, it's been a while since we had a conversation. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, I think this was like along with you. I also kind of needed this break. I was like, okay, I've been doing so much of this, so it was a good time. But yes,
Yep.
I missed the audience. I missed everyone. I was like, oh,
Yes, good. Now I'm trying to get people addicted to this whole feeling of coming online and talking to such an amazing crowd. Aditya, hi. So Aditya said, "Hello, dear sir and ma'am. Please don't forget to talk about social media, group mentality, and trolling." That's a great
right,
point. We will be covering that for sure.
yes, yes, we will,
All
we
right.
will.
Mansi, always great to have you back on this chat. Today's discussion has been something that you brought up this topic, I think almost a month ago. In the middle of our Freud discussion, you said that you know what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about
Belonging.
belonging. And since then, it's just been growing in my head that what a lovely topic this is. Tell me, why did you want to talk about this?
Right. So, I mean, that's a very good question because honestly, it might seem like, okay, belonging, कौन सी बड़ी बात है? क्या जरूरत है जानने का? Belong किए तो किए, नहीं किए तो नहीं किए. But as a clinician,
Hmm.
when I sit in my OPD and when I see a lot of patients, I see how much of their trauma is actually just because they don't feel they belong. So
Okay.
much of it, and it's something that the patient, or let's not say a patient, but anyone who's suffering, they don't even come to know what exactly is it that bothers them so much, and it just manifests in various ways.
Hmm.
And when I try to trace back the causes of that, that's when we reach to some place where they feel like, I felt that, I wasn't accepted and I wasn't a part of it. And eventually, most of my clients, most of my patients, they come and, it boils down to that. And I was like, this is something so core, so fundamental, yet something that no one ever teaches us. Like, I don't know, किनके पेरेंट्स बिलोंगिंग की बात करते हैं कौन सी
You're
स्कूल बिलोंगिंग की बात करती है
I think you're right. The idea of belonging, it's something that sort of goes under the radar, and it's not. We all do it all the time, but then it's not something that we think about. I would actually, in fact, what I thought we could do for today's chat or for today's conversation is I could ask chat right at the beginning, what do you guys think about this word? So when you saw the topic with the wrong spelling and everything, apart from the wrong spelling, what did you think about the topic? So when you read that title, what came to your mind? I'm really curious to know, because I think that belonging sort of means different things to different people. So I thought that we could sort of use that as a guide to decide, how to take the conversation forward. Okay,
yes,
Isha
why not?
Verma has said relationships. Parth has said belong equals family, comma oxytocin. So people are like trying to be like, मैं पढ़ के आया हूँ.
I've done my homework, yes.
Ojas has said, why are we here? Aditya said family. Abhishek has said belonging is to be able to fit in. To fit in. So to fit in is a great term. Being accepted by a group of people. Medha. David has said someone to care about us. Abu Bakr has said that girl. Okay, this is very straightforward. Belonging mane wo ladki.
Right,
Uh,
right.
Star Money has said, please don't bang on the table. The mic vibrates and is disturbing. Oh God,
Okay,
this mic does not belong anymore. There is something
yes.
wrong with this mic. इतना क्या sensitive mic है? Uh, okay, wait. कहाँ गया? Not Rishikesh has said not being single is belonging.
Wow. So, I mean,
I mean,
the meaning is so diverse. Like,
yeah.
this is exactly why we need to talk about this because we don't even know what it means.
Exactly. Demalia origin. Many people might get attacked again, Shreya. I know. I think that is one of the, what do you call it? Occupational hazards of these kind of conversations now. People are getting attacked. So when we say something, somebody would be
Oh,
like, "This is why are you talking about me?"
this
Anirudh,
is अंधेरे में तीर. We are not attacking anyone personally. We are like अंधेरे में ही तीर मारे अब जिसको लग गया उसको
लग
लग
गया
गया.
तो लग गया. हाँ, that's true. Okay, I can't say. No, wait. Kag jump. I can't say I had one traumatic experience, but most of my insecurities and problems and pain is because of not feeling belonged. Bhabika has said. So there is that sense of understanding that somewhere this is a problem. This And just seeing the, my God, just seeing the extent of where all people have gone with the meaning, you can already get that sense that yeah, this topic is huge.
It's huge, very true. Like none of these answers were wrong, yet none of them were completely right as well. Like each one has attributed the meaning to one particular factor or one particular aspect,
Right.
whereas belonging is a lot more. And all of us associated, like most of the answers associated belonging to an external factor,
True.
whereas belonging is something that you have to feel internally. So, belonging is an emotion that we need to feel, and it can't be given, it's a two-way process. It can't be just the other person, like just that girl, or it can't be just that family. It has to be a two-way thing.
Right.
So,
Right.
I'm very, mhm.
Um,
Go ahead.
so, Divya Krotu has said that it's self-actualization to avoid meaninglessness. That, I mean, I kind of like that summary. There is a lot of truth.
It's good, but
Hmm.
belonging is a lot more simpler than that.
A lot more
Self-actualization,
simpler. Okay.
lot more simpler. Self-actualization, very few of us would reach, very
Right.
few of us.
True.
But belonging is something very inherent. Even an infant would want to belong, like something as primitive as a baby, like with such a undeveloped cognitive apparatus would also want to belong.
That's
So
true. That's true. So, as soon as a baby is born, what you're saying is that it is born with the need to belong.
yes, yes. Even though the baby may not explicitly ever talk about it, of course, neither is there
Hmm.
a way to say that. But
Hmm.
like the baby, like even a 6 year old, a 6 month old, 8 month old baby would know that these are the people I know.
Yeah.
These are the in group people, and anyone beyond that is the out group person. So this whole sense of we, us, and others is belonging, which is so inherent, so innate, and self-actualization would come a lot later.
Okay. I think I get that. So, even as a baby is growing in the first 2 months, 3 months, it starts to recognize its mother and its father,
Yes,
and right from there, that sense of my tribe, or like this is
right.
mine.
These are mine.
These are mine. So when you say mine, as soon as you say that, you mean that either you belong to me or I belong to you,
I belong to you. Very true. Like
right?
when you say mine, that's exactly belong.
Correct. So you, when you say you bought a phone, you say this phone belongs to me. So, but the earliest forms of ownership are relationships.
Relationships. Earliest
Oh.
and something you'll have till your ends.
Oh, damn. Okay, fine. All right. So we are off to a good start. Now we know that belonging starts right from birth, and it is the earliest form of ownership. Okay. I like that. I like this base. I like that we have established this sort of this earliest rule. Okay. Where
Right.
do we go from here? What do we because I thought that I could take guidance from the chat, but chat has just gone all over the place again, as chat tends to do. I've noticed because they've gone to nationalism is belonging. So Abhishek has started counting down PFC drawing coming in 100, 99, 98. That is just pressure. That's just putting
Oh,
pressure on me, dude. uh,
right. Okay.
Soumya, do we overcompensate when felt not belonged? Like people pleaser for life because somewhere we felt not belonged. How should that be tackled?
Right. Fantastic. But
Yeah.
Soumya, I will come to that as we
Yes.
understand
It's a
belonging more
great,
and more. But
yeah, it's a great
it's
question to be discussed later.
yes,
Okay.
yes, certainly.
Mansi, tell
So,
me.
what is belonging? Belonging is a sense of being a part of something larger than yourself, like being a part of something beyond yourself, and not just being a part of it, but also being accepted. So, I wrote it in my post that something that I believe is mine, and I also know believes me to be theirs. Like a baby knows, मैं मेरी मम्मा का हूँ और मेरी मम्मा मेरी
Hmm.
है. That is belonging. Like if it is for something uh, inanimate,
Right.
even then you should have a sense that this place accepts me.
Yeah.
You would have that sense, right? I
For
mean, you would have
sure.
that.
like a house,
like a house.
or a uh, or a kindergarten or a school.
Right, right. I mean,
Yeah,
some people feel I belong to the beach. So they feel at home when they are on the beach. So,
correct.
that even a place can give you that sense of, okay, you are accepted here, you are welcome here, and we like you here. That
Yeah,
sense. It's
yeah,
that. So it's a two-way thing. It's never a one-way thing.
yeah. That is fascinating because I never thought about it that way. You never say that the beach belongs to me. I mean, very few people have the privilege of saying that, but a lot of people have thought that I belong in the
I belong.
beach, like I belong on in the sea. So
Right,
we are giving ownership to the sea. We are giving ownership to the
right,
beach.
right.
Okay. Oh wow, this is already yeah, very topsy turvy. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, but what if, I mean, even though there can be inanimate things that, we feel like we belong to or they are home to us and all of that,
Yeah.
belonging per se is more about social connectedness. Belonging per se is more about fitting into a larger group of people or fitting into something that is larger than you. But in terms of people, more importantly, in terms of people,
Correct.
of course, there are other things as well. Now, why would you want to be a part of a bigger community, or why would you want to be a part of anything beyond yourself? You want to shoot some guesses?
Um, Safety. You want to have the safety in numbers, in safety in protection. Uh,
Very true.
yeah. I mean that's the first thing
Right.
I can think about. Yeah.
That is primarily what it is thought of, as the reason why belonging is even there. So, what they say is from the evolutionary point of view, this is about thousands of years back when human beings, like animals would be there, and all you had to do was to protect yourself from those animals, like protect yourself from being hunted, and make sure that you're able to survive and procreate.
Correct.
How would you do that when you were like the Stone Age man? You would want to be in a group so that if an animal attacks you, more of
Yeah.
y'all can take care of each other
Yeah.
or cook together or have partners because you have a community. Like if you're alone, how would you even look for a partner to mate with?
Correct.
So this is where fundamentally evolutionarily belonging is supposed to come from, that it was primarily for safety, primarily it was just to promote survival. But this is way back.
Like everything. Like
Like everything.
everything comes from this only, that सर्वाइवल के लिए क्या करना है, and
Survival and procreation.
survival and procreation, and belonging is such an inherent part of it. You can't get away from it.
You can't. And if you get away from it, you're under threat. I mean,
Yeah.
your safety is under threat. Your survival of your species is under threat. Everything is under threat. So you
Correct.
definitely can't get away from it.
Correct. Sapiens. Aditya, you're absolutely right. Yuval Harari, Sapiens, is an incredible book that describes this particular phenomenon very well. You're absolutely correct. So, okay, the basis of that, we can assume that one of the basis of that rather comes from this old drive of wanting to belong, wanting to
Survive.
sort of survive and help each other survive, basically.
Right, right.
And that sets a. Okay, 1 second. This is triggering me. Mayur, is today's volume lower than usual? Ah. Mansi, no, no, not yours. I don't. I hope not yours. Can you confirm that sound is good? Sound is good. Okay. Parth, thanks, man. Thanks. You're a true friend. All right. Cool. Cool. Continue. Someday we
Right.
have to talk about triggers, okay? Because this is now मेरा post PTSD हो गया है.
Pura, like you're like, zoom.
Whenever somebody says volume, I think,
And I think more so with me because every time there's something, every time there's a unique thing that happens with these sessions. So
yeah, I
totally
know
get it.
that's what. Okay, where were we? Where were we?
So we spoke about the evolutionary point of view. Now coming a little ahead from survival, if we look back at just a couple of centuries ago, there were a lot of things that were not mechanized. Like machinery was not there, and all
Right.
of that. Everything was haath se karna. Like everything was done by human beings, and everything was man-made and man-powered.
Yeah.
So in times like those, it was each other that would help, the survival of the community. Like you had to depend on someone else for certain things. Like
Right.
you had to depend on other human beings for certain things. So that's why this whole sense of community and belonging and being together was also promoted, because you couldn't survive if the other people were not there. You were dependent on them for a lot of things. So let's
Right.
say dependent on farmer for your food, and dependent on the potter for your matta or whatever, lot of
Correct.
things, right? So, or the doctor for your health. Now, of course, we've come to a different era altogether. Like now we can survive independently. But luckily, fortunately, these are not the, you
Hmm.
want me to stop? Okay.
No, no, no.
These are not the only reasons why, we need a community. Like luckily, it's not just for the material needs. There's a deep-seated psychological need as well to belong, which probably has an evolutionary start, but has stayed on, which has always been there. Like we've heard it innumerable times that man is a social animal. And when we
Correct.
say that, what do we really mean? So at this, I would like to draw a diagram.
Ha!
And
Ha!
yeah, finally, I've
You
been
guys,
wanting.
you guys think that you can predict what's going to happen, and you have been counting down seconds for when I start drawing. You never expected this, did you? You never
Oh,
expected.
but it's never gonna be a Siddharth Warrior drawing, guys. So please don't raise your expectations. So allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1 second. Yes, you can. Ha.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love this. So this is I think in movie making this is called something deception, and then setting audiences expectation, and then subverting expectation. That's what it's called.
Oh
Subverting
wow. Okay,
expectation.
that's a new word that I've learned. Okay,
Yes.
so here I
अच्छा
can't.
सुन
Oh,
यार शेयर नहीं
is it?
हुआ है.
हाँ, क्यों नहीं हो रहा?
अच्छा now okay, this is double subverting expectation. Now you, if you can't do it.
Yeah, I just shared it. Oh
अच्छा
God, but नहीं देख रहा है. Why God,
नहीं
why?
नहीं 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 1 second 1 second 1 second 1 second. mm, yeah, it's supposed to
Okay.
come.
Yeah, I just shared it. Why isn't it coming? Can you
Let
see it? Anyone?
no, we can't see it. I'm going to catch up on chat what has been up. Sid's Discord group. Oh yeah, we will talk about that. I was actually going to talk about community building, and how it is kind of a sense of belonging. So the idea of the Discord chat was that people who are meeting in this chat and talking about the stuff that we are doing streams about, I thought that that would be a great place where they can continue the conversation. But what I realized later after the chat started was that amazing things happen when people meet, and yeah, that
Are we
was
there?
the purpose of it. Yes, yes, Mansi, I can now see your screen,
But there's a
and
lag.
there
Like
is
there's a big, big
a
lag.
little bit of a lag, but then that's okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Some
Okay,
some
so
Soumya said start membership, please. I want to belong. Yes, Soumya, I will. I'm going to start
I
Patreon
think
first, by the way. But yeah,
I think everyone on the chat already belongs.
yes, they do. This is a. I mean, because so many names are now familiar that every time the chat comes in, you're like, oh hi, welcome back.
I know, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so here, when we talk about the psychological needs,
Hmm.
why we want to belong, so there's a wonderful theory given by Abraham Maslow. And
Okay.
the theory says that there
Oh,
is
this
a
is,
hierarchy of needs.
yeah, Maslow's pyramid of needs.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, it's
amazing.
called the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so what it says is that for any human being, the first thing that we need is the physiological needs. Please pardon my whatever. I need to
The
learn all the
handwriting.
vernacular. No, the handwriting is much good actually, but it's not coming well here. Never mind.
That's okay.
So, so the first thing is the physiological needs, which is your food and your sleep and your respiration and all of that. Like how to ensure that
Correct.
all of that is taken care of. Then you have your safety. So you need to be safe. Like you need to have a shelter, and you need to make sure that you're not hunted down and you're not killed. So that is the second need. Like psychologically, the first need that needs to be met is your physiological needs, the
Correct.
bodily needs for surviving, like just to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Then you need to be safe. The third one is love and belonging.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So now what is important here is that so that you possibly can't share this or make a small whatever you make those trimmed down videos na isko please bilkul mat lena. This is like the most horrid drawing I've ever made. So
I was not going to, but now that you said it, I'm going to make it into a very nice shareable video, like a 2 minute one that can even be shared on Twitter.
this is like my learning to learn. No, please, no, don't embarrass me. Okay, anyways, so then love and belonging, and then you have self-esteem. So I'm gonna explain this.
Yeah.
And then the last one is, I'm going to write it here, self-actualization.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so first you need to have your physiological needs met. Then you have to make sure, like, then the psychological need that needs to be met is that you are safe and you don't want to scan for threats all the time.
Yeah.
Then comes love and belonging. What he says is that unless you've crossed each level, you can't skip to a higher level. Like, I can't go from level 1 to level 4.
Hmm.
I have to go through each level, like in the sequence that he has mentioned it. So he said that belonging is so fundamental to us
Hmm.
that if you don't feel like you belong, you possibly can't have a very strong sense of self identity,
Hmm.
and you can't have a good sense of self esteem, and forget self actualization. So once you have this sense of having loved someone and being loved, which does not only mean romantic relationships, but it
Correct.
also means the love that we have for our parents and the bonds that we have with our friends and the community, all of that,
Hmm.
and you have to feel belong. And then comes self esteem. So once first you want to become a part of a group,
Hmm.
once you become a part of the group, which is love and belonging, after that you want to be a little different than that. Like you don't want to be just a replica of each other. You still want to be a little more unique than what everyone else is. So then you go on to the next level.
That is
But to go on
self-esteem.
to that is self-esteem. So to go
I
on to the
love
next
it.
level, you first have to be a part of something, and then you have to go above that. Then you try to become unique. Isn't that something we all do all the time?
Oh God, absolutely. So we are usually, if assuming that your great grandparents and your grandparents and your parents have done a good job at survival, uh, a lot of us who are listening today in this chat, in this conversation, are on the top three layers of the pyramid,
Right. Very
right?
true.
But not
Yes.
everybody is, which is what privilege means, because there are still people who are struggling in the bottom two tiers of the pyramid. And the when I think about evolution as a whole, so human species as a whole, I feel like everybody is trying to go up this pyramid, and not it's not always possible to go from the bottom to the top in the same generation. So sometimes one generation goes just in getting from 1 to 2, and then 2 to 3, 2 to 3 to 4, so on, so
It's
yeah.
easier to go from level 3 to 4 to 5. I think the biggest struggle happens
Hmm.
between level 2 and level 3.
Level 2 and 3, really?
In the sense that for safety, for shelter, for all of that, I
Hmm.
think there physiological तो आपके हाथ में ही नहीं है. मतलब only food you can have, right? But
Hmm.
I think the biggest struggle, not even level 2 to 3, but I think level 2 is the biggest struggle. Once
Hmm.
you've had the resources for your safety, after that, everything else falls
Exactly.
into place. But
Yeah.
unless that is there, I don't think you even move ahead.
Correct. I think that level 1 is possible. मतलब खाना कुछ ना कुछ तो people will do, but the
कर लोगे.
safety that
Right.
can life come and well, fuck you up basically in whatever way. If you're in the jungle, it's a tiger, but if you're in a city, then it's like homelessness
The
or
coronavirus.
poverty. Yeah, coronavirus. So that safety is the biggest hurdle to cross. And then for me, the most important one is the last one, because I think that is also very, very difficult.
It's
Self-actualization.
very good. Yes, and
So
I think
yeah,
very few people reach there like throughout their lifetime. होता ही नहीं है.
right.
But when we talk about safety, even though he personally spoke about like the physical safety per se, but we also have to know that people who don't belong, people who feel that they don't belong, also have a constant sense of I'm not safe. The emotional safety that one should feel, like you're not always scared of dying, you're not always scared of ill health, but
Yeah,
you're also scared of uh, not being a part of something, and you're also scared of being left out, which we will come to what happens to
yeah,
your brain when that happens.
yeah,
But yes, they are also very interrelated. So for you to feel that I'm emotionally safe in a particular environment, like a child who does not feel safe in his house, a child in a house where there's domestic violence, or a child who's in foster home or stuff like that,
yeah,
who don't feel completely safe, I don't think they feel loved or belonged either. So this whole transition from safety to
correct.
love and belonging, at least at an emotional level, is
Yeah,
also very difficult, which is something that is very conveniently forgotten.
exactly.
Something that I tell all my patients or parents of young patients, like child patients, is that parenting these days has become all about trying to prepare the child to live in the outside world. It's all about कैसे हम इसको discipline करें, कैसे हम इसको बाहर के तरीके सिखाएं, how do we teach him the ways of the world.
Yeah,
In the process of making the child ready for the world, what you are doing is you're taking away the home from that baby. You're taking away the home from that adolescent. Like you don't allow your home to be a home.
mm-hmm.
That just becomes a place. Parents don't stay the people who a child would feel that I belong here. It's almost like he has to constantly pass a test to
Mm,
feel that he belongs, and that is not what belonging is.
mm. Yeah, I think the last two lines that you said struck home for me because um, I mean, every parent will obviously care for the child. Like, that is not in question here, and they want what is best for the child.
Right.
But that I completely agree that there will be families where a child will have this constant sense of having to uh, sort of uh, show that they are still qualified to be in this house, so to
Right.
speak.
Yes.
And yeah, that I understand because then is it belonging? Is it really, can you just put your feet up and know that you belong? Or do you have to
So
continuously, yeah, yeah,
keep
yeah,
proving yourself, right?
proving
I mean, to keep
yourself?
conforming yourself to, okay. So this is where the difference between fit in and belonging comes. Belonging means
Hmm.
you are what you are, and you are accepted for it, which does not mean that your parents won't want to change you, but they will unconditionally accept the fact that this is my child today, and I love him, and because I love him and I care for him, I will try to change the things that would make his survival difficult,
Hmm.
but I still love my child.
Right.
Whereas fitting in is where I keep on making an effort to uh, to change things in me so that I fit into an environment.
Hmm.
So I'm adapting and I'm showing things that will make me a part of that environment. Whereas belonging is you are just who you are,
Hmm.
and yet you are accepted with scope for change.
Hmm.
Am I making sense?
You are. I'm just trying to put it together. Because I completely understand the what happens is that I can also see why parents do it.
Of
Uh,
course, of
right.
course.
And because there is so much fear for them because what if हम लोग नहीं रहेंगे and then the kid has to go out and all that. So it's so ironic that in trying to prepare the kid for the outside world, they make the home like the outside world. So then,
Even worse.
or worse, so that after this, the outside world will be easy. But then, if the home is like the outside world, then where is home?
Where is home? And I mean, this whole inherent feeling of I am loved unconditionally, I am accepted for who I am, is so fundamentally important for your self identity
Right.
that if you have shaken that feeling, then the child will never have a stable sense of identity. which is something that I want to convey. I'm a parent, I have my
Mm.
set of anxieties, and I also worry about my kids' future.
Right.
But it's also very important to make sure that his now is not ruined in trying to prepare him for his future.
Right. Right. Uh, what I what I think is that mm, it's very ironic that in spite of all of that, we do manage to work things out in our head. So most of us, most people, uh, in India, even abroad, I'm sure that when parents do push you to do more, to try harder, to because they want the best from you. Uh, most kids do figure out a way to get that sense of belonging in order to get that sense of comfort, right? So most kids are not dysfunctional, they are perfectly functioning human beings.
But what you're saying is also not something that is offensive. Like your parent trying to encourage you to do something better
Yeah,
is not
exactly.
right. That is not what I'm talking about. Like
Hmm.
this is something that every parent should do,
Right.
trying to tell the child that you can do this and you should this and you could do better than this. Of course,
Yeah.
and some amount of being in the challenge zone, like the discomfort zone, is very important for the
Yes.
growth to happen, right?
Yes.
But what I'm talking about is a lot of parents have this tendency to abandon the child if they don't fit into the rules of the house, or to constantly. So to to make it simpler, how Hrithik Roshan in the movie Lakshya felt when he would be around his dad. His father never accepted Hrithik Roshan for what Hrithik Roshan was. He always compared
Hmm.
him to his elder brother, whatever
Hmm.
his name was,
Yeah, yeah.
Nadesh,
Huh.
something,
Huh.
something.
Right,
So,
right.
so this is when a child does not feel like he belongs. Like when you don't accept the child for what he is, but
Right.
instead you try to keep setting some certain rules, and you have to constantly conform to those rules and constantly try to follow them and match them to feel like I belong here. I think those are the problematic areas. Parents trying to push their kids is something very healthy,
Correct.
should be done. I totally
Correct.
prescribe that.
Yeah.
Is the chat with us? I mean, would they want to?
Yeah. I mean, first I was thinking, yeah, I am with you. I just reached there, so now I'll turn to the chat. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, this got pretty deep and pretty dark. Huh? I think we weren't. I wasn't
Seriously?
expecting to.
Yeah. I thought this is like something very superficial.
Oh God, no, I don't know. Maybe I just, yeah, like I just felt like we were talking of something that is so, uh, because it is so inherent. Because I can't imagine a single person hearing this conversation and not relating to their own household, childhood in some way.
Now you know why for a month I've been telling you we need to talk about this. As we talk about this,
Yeah,
more and more people will feel, oh my God, I've been through this and I didn't even realize
yeah.
that this has caused me some damage. We've somehow processed it, some in a healthy way, some in an unhealthy way, but we've learned to overcome it. And I think for a matter of fact, we didn't even explicitly realize that this was the problem, but
Hmm.
somewhere this was the problem. So guys, I mean, it's okay if some of y'all could relate to this and felt that, oh my God, this happened to me. Sabke saath hota hai. Practically, what is
Yeah.
important is how we learn to deal with it.
In fact, सबके साथ होता है is such a it is so true in fact that this is the norm. um, feeling that feeling that sense of discomfort a little bit is is usually how it happens, and
Right.
you have intermittent sense of belonging, sort of interspersed with intermittent sense of having to prove yourself. I mean, that is how I have noticed in like almost all of my memories and even the people I speak to everywhere. It is that you go through that sort of cycle where some days you are so completely at home and there's nothing to prove, and there are some phases in life where you definitely feel like you have something to prove at home in your immediate circles. I don't see a way to avoid that. I don't think it's possible to avoid that, to be honest.
And she shouldn't even avoid it. I think it's more about uh, so what you're saying, now that you're here, you're able to process it and understand it, and understand their perspective as well, now that you're at this point of your life.
Yeah,
But when you're young and when you're back then, it seems like, why do I have to prove myself? Why can't they just own me for what I am?
true.
At that time, it's pretty traumatizing for a lot of people. And let's be honest here, we are talking about something that has a huge range.
Hmm.
Thode range mein, all of psychiatry is range, like all of it, right?
Yeah,
There's no human emotion that's not there in every household. So it's about the range. Thoda
yeah,
bahut hona hi chahiye, it's healthy. It's about when it becomes a little more.
correct.
And okay, maybe not families, like maybe not every household maybe may not be like this. But let's just take a simple example of school. Like
Okay.
so many times people would have felt, I think practically all of us would have felt at some point in our school life that I don't fit in or I don't belong here, and I so badly want to be a part of this larger group or this big gang, like the
Yeah,
nice set of people, and I don't fit in there, and uh, you feel a lot lonely.
yeah, like kids, especially kids who change their schools in third,
Very
fourth,
true.
fifth standard, sixth standard. Then when they go to the new school, all the gangs are already formed, all the groups are already formed. There are best friends hanging around all over the place. So for that, I can totally understand that there is that sense of where do I go?
Right. And where do I go? Right. I mean, not just that. I have seen students where they were in a particular class for 3, 4 years, and then the class shuffling happened, and now they barely know anyone. Like in the same school, in the same environment,
Yeah.
one can be as sensitive to this. So that
Mm,
is, those are few examples where you don't feel like you belong. And another movie. I think movies are very good to explain few things. So, Tare Zameen Pe, how this
yeah.
young boy, Ishan, never felt like he fit in. Like he always felt that no one understands me. I don't belong here. I don't, I mean, and what was his method of dealing with that? He just kept disconnecting from everyone.
Correct.
That's generally, either if you're too young, you'll try to conform, you'll try to copy others and try and do things that everyone else is doing so that you fit in. And if none of that works, all that happens is you start becoming more and more lonely. You start becoming, even though you don't want to be lonely, but you realize that none of this is working, and this so damaging to that person that they start cutting off and they start becoming all to themselves.
Mm. The okay. I mean, somewhere in my head, I also felt like, is this introversion, like introvert behavior?
Mm, no, I
No.
think no,
Okay.
no, no. This is introversion is a choice. Like introverted, or at least partially, it's a choice. Like
Hmm.
okay, they might want to talk to everyone, but then they talk and then they feel somehow it's not me, so just forget it,
Right.
right?
Right.
But
Right. Right.
here, this person so badly wants to be a part of something, but
Correct.
because no one else is accepting him, so that's why belonging is a two-way thing.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of something. मैं जा रही हूँ अपना पूरा energy लगा के, but they just don't accept me.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like they accept me, if I don't feel that I'm liked,
Yeah.
there's no way I'll ever get it in return. It's a mutual thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of get that. It's such a silly thing. So in school, I remember you have groups formed on the weirdest of reasons.
Right.
So,
Weirdest of commonalities.
exactly. So you could have like a cricket group. Okay, so people who are interested in cricket or playing cricket, then they will all form a group. And if somebody doesn't like cricket, then they never feel like they fit. Or or any of the games, or academics का तो अलग एक group होता है. So people who are good at studies, or who are in the top ranks, so to speak, then all of them will have another group.
They
There's
are
a
the elite, yes.
Yes, and then there's like a dance group, and
Right.
and there I can totally relate to that feeling of wondering, where do you fit, like where do I fit,
Very true. Very
because
true.
it's almost as if, and just bear with me on this one because I'm still trying to work out the metaphor.
Sure.
It's almost as if it's like a buffet. So every group, it's like, as you're going through school and you're seeing all these different groups and you're asking yourself, where do I fit in? It's almost like you're asking yourself, who am I?
Which cuisine do I like?
Yeah, which cuisine do I like? And so that that
Right.
sort of decides your identity. So the day
Very
you decide that, oh, I belong in the dance group, suddenly you have identified yourself as a
as a
dancer.
dancer.
Versus I want to be in the top rank group, matlab you've identified yourself as a like,
Very true.
yeah.
Very true.
So it's almost like a buffet and you're going around and picking. So where you want to belong is also like a like a sign of who you identify yourself as.
Right, right. So it's a very, very subconscious process.
Right.
Okay, so let's assume I'm not good at dance. Let's assume I'm not good at dance, and I just because the dance group looks fancy to me, I try to be a part of it. But because I'm not very good at it, because I'm not
Hmm.
very comfortable with it,
Hmm.
uh, I don't feel I belong there. I tried to fit in, but I didn't belong. Like I don't know if the difference is very clear. Belong is that sense of ease that you feel when you're in a group. Like I just feel that I'm naturally a part of this. Fit in is that forcibly I fit in. Like if I go to a party, I don't really enjoy that party, but I'm just trying to fit in. Ab aa gayi hu to, like we just spend 2 hours and go. Something
Correct.
of that sort. So
So
that is very important.
fitting in takes more energy, and belonging is effortless.
Effortless, like just a place where you feel so much at ease.
Correct.
So, so there
Yeah, I
were, I
think
mean, this
we can all relate to that. I mean,
absolutely.
we
Do you
can.
want to take something from the chat?
Yes, yes, I do. Let's see if everybody is with us. All right, Purti. No, wait. I'm just gonna go back to any Aditya, Sapien, sound is good. Siddharth, loving this discussion. Thanks, man. Lavina, is this why religion was introduced in the first place? Siddesh, very valid point. Religion does have a lot to do with belonging, and I think we will touch upon it a little bit, but not in too much depth. We'll talk about it at a greater depth later. But yes, I think religion has a lot to do with belonging. People are appreciating your handwriting, Mansi.
Oh
They
my God.
all right, doctor's handwriting OP, yes, very important. Does physiological need also comprise of sex? So yes, so if you want your species to grow, then that is a very primitive need. Maslow's hierarchy, Nitin is saying Maslow's hierarchy of needs in organizational behavior, subject in sixth semester of engineering. Acha,
Yes, fantastic.
yeah,
So any place for Maslow's needs of hierarchy, like hierarchy of needs, is actually something that is taught in corporate cultures and
yeah,
everywhere, wherever there's an institution, wherever there's going to be a leader,
yeah,
they should be taught this because this is so fundamental. And if you take care of each level one by one, you're actually going to help everyone under you to reach the point of self-actualization.
correct.
But if you don't take care of the lower levels, then so why this is important is because even the head of the family can actually take care of all these things and make sure that everyone grows to his or her whole potential.
Okay. Okay, because why should a CEO be treated any differently than a head of a family? Because they kind of have the same responsibilities.
Just the
And
number of people is more, that is all.
correct. And as the head of a family, you would want everybody under you to grow and sort of discover themselves, who they are,
Yes.
but at the same time, keeping a sort of corporate culture in mind that this is our brand. Oh, that's tricky. This is because that is
Yes.
exactly what
Yes.
families do.
In fact, I mean, leaving the corporate politics aside, I think family is so much more about the branding. Like, ये हमारा परिवार है, ये हमारी रीति रिवाज है.
Correct.
Family is so much about the brand of that family, right? So I think families have that culture a lot more inherent than
Yeah,
corporate cultures
that's true. I mean, families are just corporates without the advertisements. They have
and the
every.
politics, or maybe the politics as
Come on,
well.
politics तो कितना होता
Uh,
है?
yeah, me being a psychiatrist, seeing all of that, I should never say there's no politics in family.
Exactly. Like family politics are huge. Saurabh, how exactly can one say that they have achieved self-actualization? I believe that it is very hard to say and understand that, yes, I have attained self-actualization. Yeah, you're right. Self-actualization is, for me, it is, I don't think it is a single line drawn in the sand. I think that self-actualization is a process. It's just like saying good health. What do you mean that you've achieved good health? Is there a marker? Is there a line? No. good health, you can keep getting healthier. Similarly, I think self-actualization, you can keep realizing more and more and more about you, but then have you started on the journey is the important thing. Purti said, feels like she's talking about me. Okay, so when we were talking about that whole family thing, Mansi, I think we triggered a lot of people. I Sanskari, difference between fitting in and belonging makes so much sense. Absolutely, I agree. I think that's a very important difference. It's Lavina said it's to say that you are enough just as you are. Yeah. Now
You are
see,
enough just as you are at the moment.
at the
One
moment,
should always strive
yes,
to change.
exactly. I was trying to see what was wrong with that line, and because you have to balance both being comfortable with who you are and wanting to grow.
So, I like to use the word self aware, which means that you love the good bits in you and you're also aware of your limitations, which does not, when I say I'm enough, I think you draw a line, you put a limit on yourself. So, I don't like to say I'm enough.
Hmm.
I just like to say I am what I am today. I definitely accept and own my limitations and I would like to work on them tomorrow. So,
Right.
for me, self aware is love your good bits, be aware of your not so good bits, and try and change them.
Lovely. I mean, I can't put it better because those two things have to be together. You have to, and this is so true for everything. As it is true for where you are in academics, it's true for your career, it's true for your relationships, it's true for your health. Just because you want more doesn't mean you're unhappy.
Right,
people
right.
make that people make that mistake because they think it's
Binary.
binary. Exactly. So you can be happy and want more. What it is possible.
So, when we talk about self actualization, this is actually one of the things in self actualization that you are content with wherever you are content with whatever you have achieved, and people's opinions and people's perception of you does not really trigger you. It may
Hmm.
still make some difference, but it doesn't bother you so much it would to a young adult or,
Hmm.
somewhere in your mid 30s and 40s. So I'm not like, I'm just saying that age group, but you could be self actualized even at 25. Like if you're a
Yeah.
monk, you're self actualized at 20 also.
Sure.
So, but it's about being aware that this is who I am. I'm content with what I am, and I know my limitations. I'll change them. And I don't want to conform to anything just to fit in.
Correct.
I'm doing things because I like them.
Yeah. I mean, to say that is a privilege because there are a lot of people who can't say that I'm doing this just because I like it. And at every level, there will be situations where you can't say that. But then, yeah, but I think I get what you mean by it. It is important that we realize that why are we doing something,
Right,
right?
right.
That's what you meant. Also,
And
yeah,
being at peace with everything, like none of the external things matter so much anymore.
yeah. I feel like we're trying
I,
to,
I, I'll give a very simple example. Like
yeah.
there's a gynecologist here, I won't name him.
Okay.
So when he gets done with his work, he wears a sack and he wears his slippers and he starts like walking really funnily, like very fast and funnily. So I had a family member once tell me, "Like, what kind of a doctor is he who talks like this?" And at that time, I didn't even who walks like this and who talks like this. And at that time, I didn't even know the word self-actualization, but I knew the sense he would have. He's achieved so much in his life that he doesn't really care कि मेरे बाजू वाला
Yeah.
आदमी मेरे गेट के बारे में क्या सोचता है. I
Interesting.
think that is self-actualization.
Yeah. Interesting. I feel like I mean, of course, maybe I might grow and evolve. I mean, I will grow and evolve. But the way I feel right now is I want to find a mixture of Buddhism and capitalism.
Wow, wow,
I
wow.
mean,
Tell me
that's
if you find it.
I mean, what I would like to do is to say that don't have desires, but that new iMac looks good.
Right. I mean, just be mindful of your desires. Maybe that's what can be done. Like that would be a mix of both of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay,
Great. Okay.
let's get back to the discussion.
Sure, sure. So now there were two other people. called Bomeister and Liari. I am not gonna write
Okay.
it down, okay? My
But
handwriting will
your
improve.
handwriting was so popular. Okay.
Please, guys, you haven't really seen the real handwriting. It's there on my posts on Instagram. Check it out. You'll like it more. So now
Okay.
these two people.
Chat, congratulations. You managed to trigger Mansi for a change. So that was very well done. Very nicely played.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. Okay, so now these two guys, they actually spoke about
Yeah.
this whole belongingness, like they really studied it, and they spoke about something called the belongingness theory, in which they said that belongingness is when you want to be a part of a bigger group, like pervasively. I don't want to be a part of something today and then I've forgotten about it tomorrow. Pervasively be a part of something that is larger than you, that is lasting, and that is satisfying. Like, that, and it is mutual. Like, it's a two-way process. Like I said, like if I want to belong somewhere, they should also feel that they want me. Now, what is also important to know is that all of us have a certain capacity of relationships. Like I want at least, let's say, 20 people who are important to me. Like not an exact number, but the emotional gradient. Like I
Hmm.
want so much emotional happiness from the relationships around me. So all of us would have a minimum number. Okay, so let's say that number for me is 20. So if I have 20 fulfilling relationships, like 20 good relationships where there's a mutual exchange of
Sure.
dynamics and mutual liking,
Where you
beyond that,
20 relationships where you feel like you belong.
yes, where I feel like I belong,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So now belonging, I described it like it has to be mutual, two-way,
Sure.
and it has to be lasting and positive and satisfying and all of that. So now beyond this 20, if I have too many relationships, like too many friends and this and that, I don't really care about those beyond these 20 ones. Like, once I have these 20,
Hmm.
उसके बाद जो है, the ones that are less fulfilling, I don't really find them so satisfying.
Hmm.
Are you thinking
Continue.
something? Should I stop?
No, no. I'm a little
Okay,
triggered
okay,
myself.
okay. All right. And then after that, what he also said was there's also something called satiation and uh, what is it called? Substitution. So
Okay.
let's say I have these 20 relationships, so I feel satiated because of that. I feel satisfied. Like
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
okay,
full.
ठीक है, I'm done. Like beyond it, I'm full. Like I don't, इसके आगे हो नहीं हो, बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Now, out of these 20, let's say if one or two relationships fail, like in terms of if they get cut off for whatever reasons, like you've moved to another country or someone passes away or, anything of that sort, for
Yeah.
whatever reasons, you substitute that relationship with another relationship because you have a certain minimum requirement, like a certain emotional gradient that has to be fulfilled. So, like how when someone loses a spouse,
Oh.
they take some time to recover, but after a while, they again start looking for someone. So, this is something very fundamental, very natural.
Hmm.
And they said that if that minimum quantity is not fulfilled, then you would keep looking for those kind of relationships.
Hmm. Right. So you have now set yourself a bare minimum, right? So that's what that
Yes,
means, that you
yes,
want
yes.
uh,
At least this much.
this much belonging has to be
Right.
there for me to
Yes.
feel all that. So all the advantages that belonging gives you. For me,
Yes.
I
All the
need this.
advantages.
Yeah.
Right. Not just the feeling of belonging, but all the advantages that it provides.
Right.
I'm
And
sorry, can someone tell me the time, like, so that I go a little quickly?
oh, it's 10:25.
Already? Oh my God. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
wow, wow. Okay. It's okay. One second. Jinesh, do you think there's a correlation between artists performing for crowds, feeling validated to their childhood where they don't feel like they belonged? No offense to the artist, just a random question. Hmm. So
I think,
yeah,
go ahead, go ahead. No, go ahead.
what I realized is that I think your bare minimum changes. So if you at least, yeah, that's what happened for me, that your bare minimum of where you want to belong and where all you want to belong keeps changing. And uh, then you kind of need that much involvement. You kind of want that level of you want to feel like you belong in at that level. And
Right.
um, I think that is what artists go through everywhere, because then once when you start off in your art, you're just happy at getting it out there. But then once you get a certain amount of validation and you feel like, okay, you belong in this place, then if that is taken away, there is a sense of loss.
Then you go to the self-esteem. You
Yeah,
want to do this much and you want to be a part of the artist group, but then you also want to stand out. So you go from belonging to self-esteem.
correct.
This is precisely how the transition happens.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
how, let's for example, you started with just making videos,
Sure.
and then you went on Tanmay's channel, and then so you just wanted to belong to the group of people who were making videos. Okay, I am
Correct.
sorry, I always have this tendency to
Yeah.
attack you.
Why are you
So
doing this?
sorry.
we could have
That
done
is
a
something.
we could have
No,
done a separate session for me.
like a personal attack session. No, this is for people to know. Now it has become something of a self-esteem. Like now you're just wanting to grow a lot more. You already belong on YouTube. You just want to grow a little more. You want to set yourself apart. So this is belonging to self-esteem. I didn't say anything bad.
I know, I'm trying to not get triggered. Aditya Binod meme viral because people felt belonged. Absolutely, that's true. But yeah, man, there's so much of attack going in your face. Why is chat enjoying this? This is not fun.
It is very much. I'm complimenting you. It's just a very, very psychological,
Yeah,
theoretical way of
it's a very
complimenting.
detour wala compliment, but okay, fine. It's fine.
Right.
Okay, go on before you attack me anymore.
Okay, so we spoke about this, that how you will substitute the relationships and how this, artist. So I think for artists, it's so much more about the art as well and not just belonging to the
Sure,
crowd.
sure.
But yes, I do feel that anyone who seeks validation is trying to meet some need that was probably unfulfilled in the childhood. And this, I would also like to talk about something that's very important. So there's a big difference between when we talk about belonging for a child, what they did like big fMRIs, like a lot of studies on kids, and they realized that for a child, when you say that for him the circle of belonging is the circle of safety, and anything beyond that belonging is unsafe. So what the child constantly looks out for, a child's brain is very vigilant to dissimilar faces, like faces that
Hmm.
they've not seen before, to dissimilar environments that they've not seen before. So the child is constantly looking out for threatful situations or threatful stimuli.
Hmm.
Whereas as we try and as we grow, like as we go into adolescence, from focusing on the out group, like for the child, he knows the in group, he's very happy with the in group, he's
Correct.
learning a lot of behaviors from the in group,
Yeah.
how to navigate through the social environment. This is where the child learns it all from.
Right.
But the child's brain is a lot more focused on the out group, like, okay, no one from the out group should come in my house and they should
Correct.
be away and all of that. As we
Which is
start
why when
growing up,
you give the baby to somebody new, she immediately starts to cry.
absolutely, the stranger anxiety
Stranger
and all of
anxiety.
that, it's a
Yeah.
part of the out group, and I don't want to be with the out group. But
Correct.
as we start growing up, as we go into adolescence, particularly like not just the early adolescence, but somewhere a little midway,
Hmm.
we start focusing a lot more on the in group.
Hmm.
Till now, it was like, okay, I know my in group. Okay, that's
Yeah.
quite understood. Let me just focus on the out group and make sure that there's nothing harmful around me, right?
Correct. This is very
So
similar to the Apple analogy in attention. So you don't pay attention to things that are completely safe. Your attention immediately goes to things that are potentially threatening.
right, right,
Correct.
very
Yeah.
true, right.
Yeah.
So as you go into adolescence, then your focus starts shifting from out group to the in group, which means that like you start focusing on your peers and you start focusing on how they validate you and how they respond to you socially, because this
Hmm.
is the time of your own identity formation. So for your identity formation, this whole social feedback and validation is very, very important.
Right.
And that's why we see a lot of these students who are like 8th, ninth, 10th standard and college, like 11th, 12th standards, the junior college group, who are very sensitive to this whole groupism and to the bullying and all
Yeah.
of that. Like they want to be a part of something.
Correct.
and they, like, their brains are noticed to be extremely sensitive. Their amygdala is activated
Right.
the moment they see any kind of bias happening to someone else, the moment they receive any sort of negative feedback or
Hmm.
any sort of preferentiality is noticed where they feel that I'm the one who is wrong, like I'm the one who is not preferred and someone else is preferred. So for them, it becomes like a threatening stimuli, and
Oh,
it is activated a lot more than what it is seen in children or the rest of the age groups. Am I making
yeah.
sense?
You are. Uh, so I completely understood what you said, and one thing you said um, made me understand like something on a bit of a tangent. I always thought
Hmm.
that bullying
Hmm.
was a, a problematic act because you are forcing somebody to do something they don't want, like ragging, right?
Hmm.
And they are uh, like you are applying power over them, and obviously that should not be done. You are making somebody taking power away from someone.
Hmm.
But now I just think that uh, it's not just about that. So it's not like a stranger is doing that to them. So there is, apart from that loss of power and loss of control, there is also this added sense of I'm not belonging to this group, and because it is somebody from your group who's doing it, some one of your peers who's doing it. So it's not just the embarrassment of having to do that. So if some stranger on the road makes you do those things, that is different. And if one of your batchmates does that or one of your seniors does that, then it is so much more painful because you are removing
You
that
feel
belonging.
violated. The belonging is taken away. Very, very. I mean, that's wonderful because I was going to come to that. I think it's wonderful
Amazing.
that it came to you so naturally.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I'm very
like a
smart.
very wow. Okay, chat. What I want to hear what they're saying about that. I'm sure they all
They're
agree
not
to that.
saying anything. I'm going to ignore it. I don't know why I said that.
Freudian
Con-
slip.
Continue.
Okay, all right. No, it's very true. So
Yeah.
good for you. All right. So it's like, again, how many? I mean, just score something really simple. When you fall down somewhere, if you fall down in an unknown locality, you don't feel
Yeah.
really bad. But if
Correct.
someone who knows you sees you, so yes, we have this sense of I'm being watched and I belong here, and I definitely don't want to show my inadequacies or my failures here. So,
Right.
like you said, that loss of control and that my feeling of I'm a part of this has been violated here.
Right.
So this whole sense of violation, like kids, since we were talking about kids, kids are very sensitive to this whole sense of violation where they feel that people in the in group are not helping each other, and that's what they also pick up. They
Hmm.
also pick up that even though people are pro-social, they are not really helping each other. So for belonging, it's also very important that you know that no matter what, people will help me. But in spite of that, it has been known and it has been seen that in any group, there is this whole sense of, in like small groupism, even if it's a small group, like there will always be a favoritism. And whenever
Correct.
there's, even at office, like if someone is bullying someone weaker or any other colleague, immediately the other people feel like, oh, we have to immediately choose a side. Like people
Hmm.
very inherently feel that we can't be the third person or the third party. We have to
Right.
be on either side, on this side or that side.
Right. Yeah.
Do you want to
Uh,
take the chat a little bit?
yes, I will. No, but one second. I think that is
Hmm.
absolutely true because uh, an essential part of belonging is that you are belonging to a like a group, and then as soon as there is a rift in that group, then what it means in your head is that there is a rift in your belonging. So that thing that your belonging is getting split into two. So obviously now you have to belong to one of them, because the whole reason you belong to that group in the first place is because you want to belong to one group. Okay.
So
Okay.
a lot
This.
of times I see a lot of households where parents are being subconsciously partial to one child.
Mm-hmm.
Happens in every house, like whoever is the weaker one or whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, children come to me, like children means adults as well. Like even a 55-year-old will come and tell me that,
I love how you
uh,
said that. Children means adults also.
I mean, the children of those parents, right? So they come to me and they're like, "Ma'am, my mother is partial and she always favors the younger brother or the elder brother."
Yeah.
And they tell me the reasons themselves that I know why she favors him because he's not well off or he cannot support himself and all of that. And yet it is very painful. And the reason why it is painful is because they feel that I don't belong. Like my mother is always trying to support that guy and
Mm.
she does not support me. She's always favoring that guy. So
Mm.
their sense of belonging is also somewhere disrupted and that's what causes them pain.
Yeah.
Even though their PFC knows that there are reasons why this is happening,
Yeah.
but it still causes pain.
That's true. Like it's that you're trying to tell yourself, don't get triggered, it's okay. But then this sense of loss of belonging is such a primitive trigger,
Very fundamental.
even in animals. So in like there are monkey tribes and all where expulsion from the tribe is a punishment. So if somebody misbehaves, then they are thrown out of the tribe. So that means literally that they don't belong anymore, and that is considered as the worst punishment,
Right.
right?
I mean, for animals, that could be really bad, but even for human beings, right? I
Yeah,
mean, you're talking about monkeys. Ram was sent to exile. Like, why not, why not put him in a jail? Why send him
true.
to Vanvas? Like, why send him for a Vanvas? Because, so this whole
Wow.
not allowing people to belong, like making sure that they don't belong, is very well known by people to cause enough damage emotionally and
Yeah.
it has been exploited like across cultures across centuries to try and tell people that if you don't do okay, I mean for Ram it was a forced thing, like even though he didn't do any wrong, but there are
Everywhere,
so
even
many
in Mahabharata, there are so many, like there is a parallel. So those guys
right,
had to go
right,
for
right.
14 years and all. Yeah.
Even till date, there are so many communities where if you do something that is not conforming with the community,
Mm.
you're an outcast. And they know that making this person an outcast is going to cause him enough trouble. So this is something that is exploited very much, even though people may not have heard this session or they've
Mm.
not read psychology, but they know very well that this causes enough damage.
True. True. Absolutely. And I like how you brought that up, because uh, now that I think about it, every culture and every sort of literature has that underlying theme of belonging,
Outcast.
outcast.
And
So
if you do something wrong,
correct, like if you निकल जाओ मेरे घर से, like that kind of thing has been there in everyone. So it's a very human, not even human, it's a very biological organism thing of wanting
right,
to
right.
belong.
Right, right.
Okay.
Very true, very true. More so in animals, like
Yeah.
more so in other species, because for them that's the only way to protect themselves. I think
Correct.
we are way ahead.
Yeah.
Right? So now for belonging, connectedness is very important. Like to have constant contact with someone, constantly meeting someone and person to person. Like not just so you may have really great friends, like you may have a really great friendship with someone, like you may be great friends with someone, but if for a very long period of time you've not met, you've not spoken, like, and particularly what this theory says is that you need to meet very often, that sense of belonging, that sense of positiveness kind of goes away. So, of course, that may be a little different for our generation now because most of these theories have been put across before the internet was there, before this whole connectivity was there. But I think before the connectivity part was there, it was very much important because if you had a friend who you've not spoken to for the past 5, 10 years,
Yeah.
you might not feel that sense of belonging.
Right.
This is where culture and religion has also come into play. Like
Yeah.
connectedness, you want to connect to people where there is some sort of commonality. And you can have few things in common with a smaller section. How do you make sure that a bigger section has commonality? That's where, well, I don't know how religions have evolved, but I can definitely see that this is one of the purposes it serves, that it
Sure.
brings larger and larger communities together.
Correct.
And culture and religion, like now these are my thoughts, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel that all they try to do, apart from the other nonsense that they do, is that they try to teach you ways of behaving,
Mm-hmm.
is that they try to teach you ways of navigating through this world because time and again the experiences that people have gone through have kind of been same, like health issues, monetary issues, and community issues, and all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe the mask kind of keeps changing a little bit, but what lies beneath it is actually kind of similar. And I think culture and religion provide you with a basis that, okay, this has worked in the past and it may work for you now.
Correct. Absolutely. When you said about religion and politics and even country, nationalism, think of a baby. Okay, so a baby will recognize that, okay, mummy, papa, uncle, auntie, bhai, ben, these are my family members. And as soon as somebody else picks up the baby will start crying. Now, how is it any different for a grown up? If they still maintain that only these people are mine, so only these 6 people, that's it, only these 6 people are mine, बाकी सब अलग लोग हैं, how can society function? It's not possible. There will be no cooperation, there will be no helping given to anybody else, and everybody will live in very, very small tribes, which now you realize is exactly what happened when humans evolved out of, when apes converted to Homo sapiens, and then as evolution came, that whole idea of us and them, ki this is us, nothing to worry, that is them, everything to worry. It's not even like grades, it is black and white. हमारा है तो मतलब कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उनका है मतलब मार डालो. And somewhere people realize that ये नहीं चलेगा.
This is not how society can function.
This is hard. Like nothing is getting done. You are just ending up, killing each other. So one of the earlier ways of making a sense of belonging was marriage. So one girl from one tribe and one boy from another tribe, if they get married, suddenly
the
two tribes are now belonging to each other. So now you know that, okay, if somebody from that tribe comes in, I'm not threatened. So both of them get more power, both of them get more security, they can exchange resources, and their collective strength increases. So a third tribe now will not screw with them, whereas they might have if they were separate.
Right.
Right. And gradually people...
Precisely.
Yeah, and gradually people realize that, oh, belonging can be so much more. What if not just 2 tribes? What if 100 tribes can work together? But then they need a common goal. They need a common, why do we belong together? हम लोग का क्या है common? Right. Then your belief system comes. And this is what Sapiens also says. You have a common belief system that from this line that I draw on the land to this line that I draw on the land, हम लोग सब एक जैसे हैं. लाइन ड्रॉ करने के पहले भी एक जैसे ही थे, but now that we have a line and we say that this is a country,
it's more defined,
correct, or a state, yeah, there is that sense of we are Maharashtrians, we are Gujaratis, we are Keralites, like as if that means something,
right? And
then everybody comes together, everybody comes like we us and them on a much bigger scale.
Much bigger scale. Very true. Very true.
Right.
So there was this experiment that they did. They got like a couple of people and they made randomly. They just made 2 groups, and they realized the moment they made those groups, Group A started working together to act against Group B, and Group B started working together to act against Group A. Then they dismantled these groups and then they, asked them to work together on a project.
Yeah.
They all of a sudden that whole feeling was gone and they started working on the project together.
Correct.
So this is exactly what you're saying, right?
That's what happens in every MasterChef. Every MasterChef season, that's what happens.
Yes, I know, totally. So at this, since we were talking about how, uh, us and them. So this is seen so much in, like, whenever someone faces racism or in any institution where there are minorities, like whether it's an educational institution or any other institution, like even in medical colleges till date, like we had this famous Payal Tadvi case where, she felt that she was marginalized because, because she was from a particular tribe. So all of that is very much prevalent, but we do realize that this whole process of social exclusion, like when someone is excluded, like someone is not made to feel connected, and when they are excluded, there are so many physical and emotional problems that are seen with them. Like it's not just that sense of, okay, I can function all by myself.
Hmm.
All she had to do was get past 3 years, but it was so difficult. Like I don't know why all of that happened, but I'm just using that case as a reference. None of these are facts and they are not my
Hmm.
opinions, but it's an example. So if you exclude someone, like if you exclude someone, just for a short period of time as well,
1 second, Mansi,
they start feeling very, very anxious.
your voice was breaking.
Hello.
Can you repeat the last line again?
Okay, I'm just saying. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Is
hear
my
you.
voice okay?
There's a bit of a
Very
lag in.
Why is that happening?
Hmm.
Now, hello.
Yeah.
I don't know why that should
Yeah. Yeah.
happen.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's better. It's better.
Okay. Okay. So, whenever someone is excluded from a group, even if it is for a short period of time, what that person faces is they start feeling anxious, they start feeling rejected, they can even have depression and suicidal thoughts because they start feeling very lonely, like
Correct.
even at a brain level. So, it's said that if you have a good connectedness with your family,
Hmm.
then you can probably get past all of this. But if you don't have like you have to have strong ties
Hmm.
somewhere. Like if someone is having a real bad culture at work and feel left out at work all the time, if they
Hmm.
have a good base back home or other relationships that are satisfying, they can still get past all of this.
Right.
But if you don't have any strong ties anywhere, you can start feeling very lonely, rejected, anxiety, depression, and there have been times when people have committed suicide because of this.
Hmm.
And it's whereas on the other side, like if it's a social relationship that is mutual and that is reciprocated, it gives a sense of well-being to you. Like just like how one-sided love, unrequited love, or a love that is mutual, the positive effects, the sense of well-being, this whole inflated sense of self that one has when one is in love, like so much you feel positive not just about the other person but about yourself.
Yeah.
I always like to tell this to all my patients that when you love someone and when you are loved back, like when you are loved by them, or forget you loving someone, like when someone else loves you, you feel good about the fact that someone else loves you. But what also happens is that you love yourself a lot more
Yeah.
because of that, just because you feel I'm lovable enough.
Wow. So when they say that love is the answer and all that, this is what they mean.
This is, yes. I mean, as a psychiatrist, yes, I know that love really does. Love means any sense of belonging, like not
Yeah.
just romantic love, but any sense of
Interesting.
belonging. It really helps you tide over a lot of things. So anyone who has social reciprocity in terms of I want to form a group and they allow me to become a part of that, my self-esteem, my self-identity, everything is so positive.
Right.
It leads to much more positivity. It leads to many more achievements. Even in corporate cultures, if you marginalize a particular group or even in institutions, their performance is seen to be much more lower on big experiments that were conducted, like big researches.
Correct.
Whereas if you don't create any sort of this whole division between the whites or the blacks or any
Hmm.
sort of minority grouping and all of that, then they achieve a lot more.
Hmm.
So just this whole sense of belonging, like I belong somewhere and I'm accepted as a part of something larger than me, is it what it essentially does is that when you don't belong somewhere, you are constantly looking for threats because you feel that I don't belong here, so the other
Yeah.
person is going to try and do something harmful to me. So all your energies are focused on scanning the threats and
Safety.
taking care of the
You
threats.
are on Maslow's second.
I can't hear you.
Wait, what?
just one sec. Okay, I'm gonna change a few things.
Uh, Guys, can you hear me? I hope so. Voice change
Just
OP.
one.
Oh yeah, so अच्छा बीच में अच्छा I think that something's changed in her sound system. Okay, what are you guys talking about? We are global citizens. Do not try to go for. Okay. What's wrong with global cooperation? Global cooperation is awesome. Jail expulsion. Hi, Mansi. Can you hear me now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Hang on, I'm just
I
seeing
think my
where.
Bluetooth.
Oh, okay, I'm just seeing
Mhm.
where chat is at. Truther Russell, please suggest me a basic book of neurology and psychology. You've seen my DM, you didn't reply. I'm sorry about that, dude. I have a basic book of neurology and psychology. Uh, yeah,
I
yeah. I mean,
I don't read basic books.
that's exactly my problem. I don't really have a
Right.
basic book for neurology and psychology. You could watch my streams, I guess. I think that's probably the best thing you can.
No, I mean, honestly, like, guys, please pardon us. The thing is, we've been studying this for eternity. Like, all we get is 20,000 pages ka books, and we
Yeah,
read that.
yeah,
So, but I think there's a lot of content on internet itself. Like, if you
correct.
look for it, you'll probably get. And
Yeah,
maybe I'll look up for something and suggest something next time.
yeah, correct. I think that makes sense. Us and them phenomenon, Aditya, please tread carefully. I think you meant about when I was speaking about nationalism in India, even I felt that I should I should treat carefully there. Discrimination in a
I
nutshell.
know.
Uh, yes,
Mm.
that is exactly usual. That is what it is. Discrimination in a nutshell is us and them.
Us and them.
Us and them. That's what it is, and that's what it comes down to at every level. I don't think you can escape that. Like as soon as you leave your um not even your house, because it's there in your house also, it's there between brothers
In your
also.
house also.
So that's the interesting thing. Like if a war is fought between two countries and one country wins, then there will be wars between the states, and then one state will win, and there will be war between towns, and then there'll be war within households. There'll be war between brothers, because at some level you will identify us and them at whatever level you are at. It doesn't matter, because that's how the
Right, right.
brain is wired.
Anything,
Yeah,
right, anything beyond me is different. So
correct,
now this me can become a we depending on the commonality.
correct.
Like, it can be a we if it's my family against another family. It can be a we if it's my nation against another nation, like India Pakistan ka match.
Yeah,
But it's just that wo me or we ke beyond jo bhi hai, everything else is them. And our brains are wired to look for threats from the them, like since evolution. So
absolutely, absolutely. And also I think it can be reverse engineered also, because if you can get along with your brothers and your cousins, then that means that your there is a capacity in your brain to get over us and them, because you are able to empathize with another set of people.
right,
Then that means that technically you can empathize with everyone. It's just that
right,
you are creating a construct where you choose not to.
right. So uh, the us and them is something very, very primitive. But so psychiatry is also about nature and nurture. Like
Yeah.
nature has made you to differentiate between us and them,
Hmm.
but your nurture, like your education and the environment that you've been in and your experiences, they should tell you that the us and them shouldn't really matter unless there is a genuine threat. Like you should be able to scan if there is any threat, and once you're reassured that there's no threat, that difference should be taken away.
Should
Your
be taken.
nurture should teach you that.
Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely correct. Uh, Siddharth has just asked a good question. Do narcissistic people also aspire belonging?
I think much more than anyone else. Like in my
Really?
opinion, yes, I think in my opinion, narcissism, a narcissistic person does not sit in a room telling himself that I am great. He wants constant validation from person, like other
Wow.
people. That's what narcissism is.
Yeah.
So yes, you want to belong to bigger and larger groups.
Excellent. All right.
So
Uh,
that
what do you mean, Siddharth?
it seems
What?
like you want to say something. I'm gonna keep quiet. No personal attack.
Yes, Yes, you should. What are you even saying? Uh,
Okay, so the few points I want to touch upon before we end this session.
yeah.
So to belong to a certain, sect or community or a larger group, we are not all cut out to be exactly the replicas of each other, right? So
Right.
what sometimes people do is that you conform, like you try to change and adapt a little bit so that you fit into that group. So sometimes there are two types, like there's a informative influence and there's a normative influence.
Mm-hmm.
So informative influence is when, so like they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Like I see something and I don't have a solution to that. Let's say I go to a new school and or a new college. Like I entered my medical college and I don't know how things function. So I just noticed the people around, like how people in my psychiatry ward, how the other doctors were functioning, and I learned to function that way. So that is informative. And normative is, uh, like there are some unsaid rules.
Mm-hmm.
Information is when there are like really the said things, like
Said
okay, this is
things.
how it should be.
Right.
Norms are the unsaid, unspoken things, like things that are just understood. So when you get stuck somewhere, that's when you look at the unsaid, unspoken things, and that's how you navigate out of it. That is the normative influence. So when one,
Sorry.
don't worry, go ahead.
I read about this in terms of conformity.
Right, right.
So
It is in conformity
it
only.
is in conformity. So what we are
Yes.
talking about is conformity.
Right, right. So how do
Okay.
you try to fit into a group? Like,
Yeah.
let's say, how when we go for some tours and all, right? I mean, when if you go abroad in a tour,
Sure.
you, like many strangers are brought together and you become a group.
Yeah.
Now all of you all are supposed to conform to that group. Like you have to act in a particular manner.
Yeah.
So you're given certain guidelines, right? I mean, you're given certain upside this baje idhar pahunch jana, and you see this clock tower and you come here and all
Yeah.
of that, right?
Yeah.
So this is the informative influence. Like you've been told and you follow what's been told to you. Normative is that you've forgotten the rule, but you see that wo floral shirt wala banda hamare bus mein tha,
Yeah.
so he's going that way, so I'll also go that way. That is the
Oh.
normative influence. That is how you try to conform to a certain group. Like oversimplified example, of
Yeah.
course,
So
but
what I understood was, when you conform to something, when you conform to someone,
right,
you follow them either because you think that they know more than you,
right,
which is informative,
right.
informational, and the other reason that you would follow somebody is so that they will like you.
Is
Now,
that normative?
that is normative. I mean, that is what I remember reading. Now, I'm not very sure, but then,
It's okay, but I think both of them are good enough.
yeah.
Like I don't know exactly, because from what I have read, this is what I understood.
Yeah, cool.
But I think, I mean,
I think
even
we'll-
psychology is so subjective. But I think both the examples give some, more
Similar
information.
sense,
Like,
yeah.
right. Also, they give a perspective. So I think it's good.
Fair enough.
So this is how you try to confirm. Like all of us try to conform to the society because we want to fit in wherever it is, right? Like, but once again, belonging also starts with fitting in. Like none of us go somewhere and just feel at ease.
Yeah.
So fitting in is a small part of belonging, but it's not completely belonging. Once you try and fit in somewhere, and then comes the social acceptance and social, reciprocation and validation and the feedback, and that's when you start feeling I belong here, and
Yeah.
they belong to me. That's when it comes.
I think that we need to kind of put it together and sort of summarize what we spoke about, and also say that this topic is huge. And the more I'm talking to you and the more I'm reading the chat and seeing where all this discussion is going, I'm realizing that, okay, this is not something that you can finish in one discussion.
Right.
And I haven't even started drawing yet.
Yes.
To be
Yes.
fair. So the whole idea of what happens in the brain when you identify us and them, I think this calls for another discussion.
I guess so, because I personally feel that there was so much to talk about this,
Yeah,
that even like the theory part has not been covered completely. Like there's
yeah,
so much more that could be spoken,
correct.
but it was also important to emphasize on everything, because this is something very, very inherent, yet never really, I mean, we never focus our attention to this.
Yeah,
And inevitably, either we suffer because of this, or we make others suffer because we don't know how much it affects others.
correct.
So I think it's very important to talk about this, and I'm happy that we spoke in depth.
Yeah,
What does the chat have to say about this?
chat is chat is saying that this was a PFC workout for them, so that is good. Janil is saying my PFC is tired now. I'm so sorry, dude. Give your PFC a good rest after this. Uh, please talk about the online group psychology, especially trends on Twitter.
Uh, so honestly, I think that needs a totally
So
different session, because
netizen psychology.
that is in psychology. Let's do it soon.
Let's do it soon. Aditya,
Bechara Carl Jung, he's like being pushed piche and piche.
Arey yaar, I know I'm feeling bad because Carl Jung is he's
Waiting.
overdue, and even Freud made him wait, and we are also
I
making.
know, absolutely. Right now, Binod is making him wait. Doesn't get worse than this.
Oh God, it's terrible. How is the sense of belonging different in introverts and extroverts? Jeet has asked.
So I think for extroverts also, like even extroverts, when we spoke about that minimum number of people, for introverts, that minimum number of people is less. For extroverts, that minimum number of people is a little higher. Like for
Right.
extrovert, it'll be 50. For an introvert, it's 2.
Right.
What really matters is what is your minimum number. For you, if 2 are enough, that's good enough. So I think for introverts, just that minimum number changes. But from me being a super extrovert to now finally coming to like, मेरा शादी 10 साल पहले हुआ, तभी मेरे बैच के 100 लोगों में से 80 people had come for my wedding when we had an exam 10 days after that, like the CET was there. 80 people, and today I barely call 5 people.
Right.
So I think even for an extrovert,
they'll all watch this video at some point, no?
I hope not. I hope not. Yes.
You don't know how popular this is going to get. Like they will get this video on their WhatsApp at some point.
I hope they don't watch it till here. Like this bit has to be skipped.
So,
but yeah, so even for extroverts, it changes.
I'm going to make 2 videos: a 1 2-minute clip of your handwriting and 1 2-minute clip
thank you.
of you talking about your friends.
And putting it on Twitter. I'm gonna make a video of you saying I'm smart, and I'm gonna put it on Twitter.
Okay, this
Beat
is
that.
Okay, this is getting very, very personal. So okay, let's calm our amygdalas down. It's fine.
Triggers lower, yes.
Parth has asked for merch and memberships. Both of those are coming. Can I just take this moment to announce that we will?
Wow.
We are going to do merchandise.
Fantastic.
Which is a line which I never thought I'll ever say in my life.
Congratulations.
So there's been a lot of people who are very interested, and they have taken it. They've taken effort to make the designs, sort of collect all the designs, and we're speaking to a printing company, and probably
Fantastic.
in a week we will get it. Week to 10 days. So yeah, I hope that you all like it. We'll start off with a couple or like 3 designs, and then figure out from there and move ahead. And regarding YouTube memberships, what I thought we could do is we could start off with Patreon, which is like a much cleaner interface, and you can check that out. I'll put out the link the next time I have a video, and YouTube membership will probably start after a couple of weeks. So yeah, that is happening. I am learning.
Congratulations, that's a milestone.
It is a milestone, absolutely. And while I know कि सब मोह माया है, but it still feels pretty good. That's the problem with moh maya. That just saying that this is moh maya doesn't really change the fact that it's still.
You're just mindful of the moha maya, but you're really even involved in it. So yes.
Absolutely. Can we do a Myers-Briggs session? Sure, we can. We will talk about. Oh, that reminds me. We have to talk about personality types also.
My God, we have so much.
I know.
To talk about.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We'll figure it out. Yes, Kush, I know I spelled it wrong on the title. Wow, there's so much of feedback on that. यार मैं 3 घंटा सोया था कल रात को और ये चलो ठीक है. International shipping, yes, there will be, so that's okay. Bhavuk but self-aware. Did you see that? Did you see that stream? I think
No,
that.
but I know, like, I don't know. I heard it or something. I don't know. I know about this line.
Bhavuk but self-aware.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow, Amrita, we are trending. So this was in the failure wala talk. Bhavuk but
Okay.
self-aware. So yeah, before I forget, guys, please follow Mansi on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is in the description. Please do that because she's going to be starting some pretty amazing discussions on IGTV.
Thank you.
Yes, and a couple of topics that I heard you mention that I got excited about was you said ADHD, and is there anything else that you feel like doing? Feel like announcing?
OCD, anxiety. So
Amazing.
basically, I think I'm going to be doing two things. One is going to be something that is core psychiatry, like awareness about them.
Yeah.
And the second is going to be something about religion and behavior and psychiatry. But that's something I'm still trying to figure out how to make it diplomatic and politically correct, you
Sure.
know. So,
Sure. Good luck with that.
oh, thank you.
All right. Okay. So I think that this was a great conversation, Mansi. Thank you so much. This was also a difficult conversation, I feel, because, well, I got triggered quite a bit in the middle, and and it is a very personal topic by its very nature, because nobody hears Freud and thinks that, oh, that is about me. Utna zyada nahi hota, but then belonging is something that happens so, at every step of your way, that yeah, it's definitely important to have this conversation, and hopefully next time we can take it a little bit. We have already covered a lot, so next time I want to break it down and keep it simple, like sort of condense everything we want to say into what do we do, like
Right.
what do we do with all this knowledge that we have now, and talk a little bit about neuroscience.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. Yes. I
that'll
mean,
be
we've
amazing.
we've shared all the experiences today. Like we've, spoken about how and where it can happen, and maybe now what can be done about
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That could be spoken the next time.
yeah. I think that'll be pretty great. Guys, thank you so much. Bandana Zing, is that really Zing? Like Zing, sing with an X. That's a pretty
Oh,
interesting surname. Zero
okay.
likes, really. That's so cool. Let's keep it that way. Aditya, thank you. Sid OP, Mansi OP going on in the chat, so that is always nice to
Thank you.
see.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
I mean, from not even knowing what OP means and now finally having it, I think it feels wonderful.
Okay, so Akbar is asked about socially anxious people using Maslow's pyramid. Akbar, that is a longer discussion. We can do that in the next time.
We'll do
Yeah.
that. Pakka.
All
We'll do that.
right. Awesome.
You remind us of the question in case we forget it the next time, Akbar.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you. I will take your leave. All the chat comments that are suggesting T-shirt names, they will be noted down, because now we are going to be doing that seriously.
All out.
All out. Yes. I mean, if you're going to do something, you do it properly.
You do it well. Very true.
Hannah, there's no point in doing, like, making half a
Just
T-shirt.
somehow. No, never.
All right. Okay. Thank you all.
All right.
We
Yes.
shall
Thank
see
you, guys.
soon.
Thank you for being patient.